Hey everyone, how is it going? Welcome back. Capture One just introduced a bunch of new amazing features on the last software update, the 14.3. Finally, in this new version, it's now possible to show images in subfolders and synchronize new subfolders. Another cool feature is the Redesigned Explorer with Proofing Viewer, but my favorite addition is the Magic Brush that allows you to quickly select specific areas in the image with similar color. What I want to do in this video is to talk about the tasty Magic Brush, showing you how it works and how to use it with one of my images. I guarantee you it's really cool. Okay, here we are in Capture One, and you can find the new Magic Brush tool next to the regular brush tool in the Layers panel or in the Cursor tool menu. The default shortcut is B, the same as the regular Draw Mask brush. However, like other cursor tools with identical shortcuts, you can switch between them by using Shift B. To make the process easier and faster, I assigned a custom keyboard shortcut to the Magic Brush, which is N, so right next to the B for the regular brush tool, which is more practical to me. This is the shot we want to edit, taking advantage of the new Magic Brush. It's a pretty simple edit, but I think it's very effective to understand the functionality of this new tool. As you can clearly see, for the sake of the tutorial, I've already made some basic adjustments like increasing exposure, contrast, saturation, some tweaks on the HDR panel, a gentle S curve to add even more contrast, and I've turned off all the layers with the adjustments I pre-made just to speed up the editing process. I will turn them on step by step along the video. We can have a quick look at it before and after. This is the flat raw image cropped, and this is with the basic global adjustments applied. Great, we are going to select the Magic Brush. Once we have selected the Magic Brush, you are going to right click over the image, and as you can see, we have 4 different control sliders. You can also hit this tiny little icon right here to see the same brush settings menu. The first sliders control the size of the brush, the opacity sets, the opacity of the mask the brush creates, then the tolerance defines the range of colors that the mask will cover, and the refine edge helps to refine the edges of the mask that will be created. Now, what we want to do is to equalize the brightness of some of these very bright boats. Since they have a different color than the water, we already have a good color separation, and it's a really good option to use the Magic Brush to create a nice selection based on colors. The older method is using the advanced tool in the color editor panel, selecting the color you want to target and then creating a mask layer from the selection. Now, in the new layer, we can make the adjustments we want, like reducing the exposure, the highlights, and whatever we want. But as you can see, the process can be a little more complicated on selecting only some boats. You have to tweak the mask using the eraser tool with different opacity levels. You know, it's an option, but it's not super straightforward. This method has another downside: it's not incremental, so you can't add additional shades of color to the base selection. Here is where the new Magic Brush shines. The selection is much easier and you have many controls to refine it. And as we said before, it's incremental. So we're going to select the Magic Brush tool with the N on our keyboard. Let's zoom in. With the M key, we can turn on and off the mask. So we're gonna hit the plus button to create a new empty layer that we will call Boats. Let's select the proper brush size, and we are gonna paint the area we want to select. And we can keep doing it whenever we want. At the moment, the selection is quite edgy and some parts of the boat are not selected correctly. If we make another brush stroke in a different area, Capture One will add that selection to the previous base selection we made. Pretty nice. The tolerance and refine edge adjustments are at 0 value. Let's see how we can improve the selection by tweaking these 2 sliders. Let me increase the edge level at about 510. Now we are going to brush in the same area, and as you can see, the edges of selection have a softer fall off into the surroundings. The edge refinement happens per stroke on the mask area it creates, so each stroke will refine the selection. Let me bring back the refine edge, and let's increase the tolerance at around 20. And in doing so, we will pick up a wider range of colors when creating the mask. As you can see, we are now selecting a broader spectrum of colors, making the overall selection process quicker. The Magic Brush works amazingly well. It's very precise and very smart at finding the right color matching on the edges. What I can see is that the two sliders tolerance and refine edge are very sensitive. A small variation makes a huge difference in masking results. So my suggestion is to start with the lower value and incrementally increase it as needed. For this specific selection, we can keep the two values at 15 for the tolerance and 3 for the refine edge. In the Magic Brush settings menu, we also find the flag Sample Entire Photo, which determines if the mask will be restricted by edges. If enabled, the mask will cover all areas of the color that is being brushed on, regardless of whether the areas are connected or not. For our image, it's not what we want to do, but it's quite handy as an option. Now let's adjust the water by adopting the same tool, but before doing it, a big thing that I recommend is that you hit the like button on this video so it can spread to more people. Thank you. Okay, let's brush these blue tones and let's see what we get. We have got a pretty good water selection. It's a nice starting point we need to refine. Let me set up a different value for the tolerance and edge, like maybe 20 and 7. Let's keep going with a couple more brushes to incrementally refine the transition with the boats. Not bad at all, isn't it? Decreasing the exposure, we can see that the selection along the boat is pretty damn good. Let's move on these underwater bright areas that are quite distracting. As the next step, our goal is to dim them down using a different technique, the healing tool in tandem with the opacity slider. So let me activate the pre-made retouch layer, and we can see how I remove the distracting areas with the healing tool. We can also decrease the clarity a tad to smooth out the details and get a more seamless blue canvas. This is before and after, the before and after. The next layer is a dodge and burr layer. With this one, I reduced the brightness on the bottom right part of the frame with a linear gradient. And as a final touch, we can add a slight color gradient to stylize the image, and to do so, we are going to introduce a bit of orange in the highlights and a bit of blue in the midtones and the shadows. Let's see one more time, before and after, the before and after. How cool is that? This new Magic Brush is absolutely an amazing and powerful addition to speed up the editing workflow a lot. Now that we have got our final product, what we want to do is to export the image using the completely redesigned Exporter with Proofing Viewer. The exporter can be accessed in two ways. In the top left of the toolbar, click the export icon, or right-click the selected photo and click Export and then Export. It's a new functionality that shows you exactly how your exported image will look before you export. So we're going to zoom in a little bit, and what we want to do is selecting output sharpening for screen on this drop-down menu. I found that 125 for the amount, 0.5 as radius and 0.2 for the threshold work pretty well for the image. After that, we can hit the export button, and this is our final image ready to be posted on social or your personal website. So now, finally, we can tweak the output sharpening parameters by having a real-time preview of the final result. That's pretty awesome. If you have never checked out Capture One, I would highly recommend you do it. In the video description, I put the link to download a free 30-day trial if you want to give it a shot. And you can use the discount code Livieri10 at the checkout to get a 10% off of your Capture One copy. Alright, this is a brief preview of how powerful this new tool is and how it can help your editing workflow a lot. You will see more on using these new tools in the upcoming videos, but in the meantime, if you have any questions, please do leave a comment. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already done, please subscribe to the channel, it will be awesome. Alright guys, thanks so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video. Ciao!